Welcome back to Electrified Reviews. Today we're going to be checking out the Denago City Model 1 from Denago. The Denago City Model 1 step-through e-bike aims to offer urban commuters and casual riders a comfortable, convenient, and efficient means of transport. With its step-through frame, advanced motor setup, and thoughtful cockpit design, this e-bike promises to take the pain out of city travel. With a price tag of just $1,300, does it deliver? Well, let's find out. Before we get into our first impressions and overall opinion on this bike, let's talk about some of the key specs here. Our top speed is 28 miles per hour with pedal assist and 20 miles per hour on the throttle. The motor is a Shangji rear hub motor, 48 volts, 500 watts, 50 newton meters of torque. The battery is a 48 volt, 13.6 amp hour, 652.8 watt hour, semi-integrated style with LG cells. Love to see the LG cells here. The display is a Denago branded LCD display. Lots of information here and we'll get to that a little bit later. Drivetrain is a Shimano Tourney 7-speed. Our frame is a 6061 T6 aluminum alloy. This is the step-through version. They do offer any top tube style as well. The brakes are Zoom hydraulic disc brakes with motor cutoff inhibitors, and the weight of this whole bike is 53 pounds. Now, on to first impressions. The City Model 1 arrives well packaged and accompanied by assembly tools, a 3-amp fast charger, and a detailed owner's manual. The step-through frame makes mounting and dismounting incredibly easy, ideal for stop-and-go city traffic or just somebody who needs the accessibility for an e-bike. The bike looks sleek with its aluminum alloy frame, and the Velo Plush comfort saddle immediately indicates a focus on rider comfort, which we like because we're riders as well. Next, let's talk about performance and handling, starting with the speed and the motor. So the Shangji rear hub motor offers smooth power delivery and a top speed of 28 miles per hour with pedal assist and 20 miles per hour on throttle mode. It's more than sufficient for urban commuting in our opinion. The motor provides a good balance of speed and torque, and it's definitely more on the casual rider side of things, but it offers enough power to flatten out those hills quite a bit. Looking on to the battery now, we've got a 48 volt, 13.6 amp hour battery with LG cells. It offers a long lasting life, easily getting you through a full day's commute or a lengthy leisure ride. The semi-integrated style looks clean and makes it easy to remove for charging. Now, this might be controversial, but I almost like the semi-integrated look on this particular bike as opposed to a fully integrated battery, and I'm not sure why, but aesthetically, it just looks pretty cool. The drivetrain is a Shimano Tourney 7-speed derailleur. It's perfect, reliable, name brand, all the sort of stuff we like to see. For city commuting, the range of gears is adequate for both flat terrain and moderate inclines. Now, there is a little bit of ghost pedaling at higher speeds, but if you're not going to be going those higher speeds, you'd never know. The Denago LCD display is easy to read and packed with useful information like speed, motor power, trip distance, and battery charge level. The inclusion of a walk mode is a nice touch for those moments when you need to dismount and push the bike. Now, why are you pushing the bike in the first place? I don't know, I'm not psychic. The step-through frame made of 6061 aluminum alloy adds both style and ease of use of this bike. The Zoom handlebars and adjustable stem provide various riding positions, while the lock-on style grips offer solid handholds. And at this price point, we're not used to seeing such versatility and safety, so it's kind of a shocker. The Velo Plush comfort saddle with a lift handle is exactly as comfortable as it sounds. This bike was made for long commutes and even longer weekend rides. Saddles in general are easy to swap out, so don't get too worried if this isn't the saddle you're looking for. Some additional features to mention here that we're not going to dive into them too much is the kickstand. As you guys know, kickstands help keep the bike upright when not in use. And why are we adding kickstand? Doesn't all bikes come with a kickstand? No, that's not the case, which I found on a few of the recent reviews that we've done. Brakes are hydraulic disc brakes with motor cutoff, providing strong stopping power. Again, at the price point, this is really cool to see. From a safety perspective, we've got Kenda quick tires with safety reflective stripes. They just add extra visibility if you're riding at night. It feels like they took a look at my normal list of things I criticize brands for and just made their bikes based on that. So kudos, Denago. You're one step ahead of this reviewer. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are a couple things I think could be improved upon. So the first one's going to be the drivetrain. So a more high-end gear set could make this bike even more versatile, and if we get a bigger chain around front, we might eliminate that ghost pedaling altogether, which would be sweet. And when we get to the ride test, you'll see that there is a little bit of ghost pedaling at those higher speeds, but adding a bigger chain around here would eliminate that completely. The other improvement would be the weight. So at 53 pounds, this isn't the lightest e-bike on the market. Now, it is pretty light, but based on the looks, it seems like it could be lighter. Now, as you can tell, we had to get kind of picky with these improvements because they already fixed all my usual suspects here. Here's my final verdict on the Denago City Model 1 step-through e-bike. This is a well-rounded package, offers a good mix of comfort, speed, utility. Its step-through design, powerful motor, and thoughtful features really make it a great option for city commuters or casual riders looking for a versatile e-bike. And based on the price, this comes highly recommended for those who want a mix of comfort and performance in their daily rides while sticking to a very affordable price tag of just $1,300. And what is that $1,300 going to get you? We talked about the specs, but what is the riding performance like? Well, that's what we're going to do right now on the ride test. All right, guys, we are out for the ride test now. And one of the things I want to show you right off the bat, I've got it in pedal assist level 5. Guys, we're starting this a little bit different. But just watch the acceleration with the throttle here. Now, 500 watt motor. But this thing, because it is a little bit lighter, especially than, I just got off the fat tire bike, just for context. And this thing just like, whoa, took off a little bit. And I was like, okay, let's start the ride test with that. Now, we don't have any suspension. You'll feel that right out the gate. But it is a very comfortable ride. I got the PSI a little bit low in the back tire. Not by choice. Well, I guess it's by choice. I could have filled it up, but I was like, you know what? And I add a little comfort to the ride. Let's see how that feels. But yeah, you put on the brakes, it's like, look at that. this thing is light. So pedal assist level 5 gets us to 20. Honestly, feels like it gets us there really quick. I don't know how it's gonna come across in the video. It feels very peppy. Go ahead and do a little pedaling here. Oh, right away she wants to go. No, you would, okay, I would say you would. I assumed that this was gonna be a class 2 bike, but it ships class 3, which is really cool to see a bike that's, you know, this approachable coming in as a class 3, right? And you look at, you know, it's a little bit of a more feminine color, kind of a pinky salmon vibe. I don't remember the actual name of the color, so I might put that somewhere here in case you guys want to get a true sense of what the color looks like. The brakes work great. I believe these are the same brakes that are on the fat tire that we just rode. Well, I just rode. Now, cockpit feel wise, this thing is comfortable. I would probably put this thing, lift my seat up a little bit, maybe like another inch or so, and I feel like that would give me a better pedal geometry, but I'm doing an e-bike review, guys, so I want to make sure I've got a good thing for you here. So that's why I'm down a little bit lower, so you guys get a good view. Now, we are really just cruising. It's hard not to just cruise on this bike. It's hard not to just cruise. I like the ergonomic handles that we have here. They're thin here, so it's a little bit flexible. So you get some of the support, but it's nothing too crazy. Just enough to feel, oh, a little support there, but also not rigid enough to where I feel like my hands are just open. So I feel like I can still get a good grip. Again, brakes work really well. Throttle is responsive, and we're just cruising. Yeah, just cruise. The remix. So the throttle here is pretty responsive, as I was saying, especially compared with the fat tire that I was just on. Sorry guys, I assume that you're with me all the time. Now go ahead and let's hit the brakes real quick. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, a little powerful for their own good. So let's talk about a couple of the things here. Now this is one of the more approachable bikes that Denago has. It's also one of the most approachable price points. We'll have that somewhere in the review. Might be in the title, might be in the description, might be over at electrifiedreviews.com. You don't know. But it is a smaller bike. Now I believe this is the small frame, if I remember correctly. I've been known to not remember correctly, but I believe this is the small frame. If it's not small, it's like the small medium. But yeah, super approachable. As you see, I've got the saddle up quite a bit to give me that geometry that I need to, to ride it around and get a decent feel for it. But if you're somebody that's a little bit shorter, and that seat goes down all the way. We've got an adjustable stem up here as well, which we've probably already covered. But this is just, it's nice to be able to, lower it down, raise it up, and that is going to be able to allow more people to hop on this. My wife is 5'4", I think, 5'5". She feels most comfortable on electric XP Lite. That's the bike that she has, the bike we kept for her, because it's really short. She's not a serious cyclist into the the e-bike stuff. We just want something to go around as a family And yeah, so that's the bike that she has. Not an advertisement for electric, just saying it's very small and she feels more comfortable on that. This bike, she also feels comfortable on. So somebody who's smaller is going to have access to this bike, have access to the full power of class 3 e-bike going up to 20 miles per hour with the pedal assist. And so it's a very cool, kind of unique bike in that sense as far as the audience segment that it approaches. We do have sidewall reflective stripes on the side, so excellent safety stuff. We don't get a rear light, which would be nice to see, and we don't get a front light. I'm not sure if that's true. I'll have to double check. I think it comes with an option for a front light. I'll double check, but we got these from Denago from the showroom, and so this one just might have been set up a little bit differently. Like I said, we'll confirm. If not, this would be something where, you know, you spend another like $50 or so. You can get something that mounts up higher and is brighter, you know, looking at, you know, 800 to 1200 lumens, and that would be better than, say, something mounted down here where the fenders normally attach. So maybe it's a good thing, right? It's going to force you guys to get something that's safer, better, more usable, instead of just sort of accepting whatever light, you know, comes on a bike, which is not necessarily the recommendation here. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a kind of like a first person walk around, talk about some of the stuff, kind of look at, you know, the dimensions here. But honestly, it is a fun bike to ride. Cool colors. Most of the Denago colors I think I like pretty well. So having something like this where the battery is removable, got a charging port over here, it's kind of the full package. You'll notice it doesn't have fenders, and like I said, I was going to double check on the light for you guys, but it does have a spot to mount fenders. It does have a spot to mount a rear rack. It does have a spot to mount a light, or the, you know, the front fender, if that's where it goes. On the fat tire, the light is up front, and so that might be an option as well to get one of those particular lights up here. So lots of different ways this bike could be utilized, modified to get a really cool sort of experience. So let's pop back on it. It's enough yip yap, chit chat. Go ahead and rip it and roll. As you can tell from when we stopped before we had our diatribe there, the brakes work well. The brakes work surprisingly well. It is a lighter bike, so having those bigger rotors, the hydraulic brakes, this thing handles really well. Now, granted, again, I'm coming off of like the fat tire e-bike that we're just on, and it handles like a fat tire, right? So it handles exactly like we expect that to handle. And then you get onto something that's, you know, sub 3 inches on the width here, and I mean, this is, it feels sporty. I'm trying to convey that idea of, it doesn't look sporty, but the experience is sporty. And so if you're somebody who's, you know, maybe a little bit shorter, getting into e-bikes, that's already a great fit, but you still want a little bit of that sportiness, and a lot of the, you know, maybe a lot of the options out there aren't tickling that adventurous, you know, nerve that you have. This thing feels sporty for the looks. So cruising around at 20 miles per hour. Again, braking is nice. I was skidding every time, but look, you can come to a controlled stop if you would prefer. Now, one of the things I'm feeling like, okay, there we go. So when you start out, the throttle is pretty slow to, I mean, it engages pretty quick, but it's just very, very toned down as far as like the power curve go, which for me, you know, I've been spending the last 2 weeks or so riding around on the Zoo's UF 1200. Like, that's just a rip it and sip it kind of bike. This isn't that, and it's also, you know, it's a different target audience, so that makes sense. When I talked with Dave Decker, who's the CEO over at Denago, he was saying that, you know, the main people that are purchasing the bikes, like their customer, tend to be, you know, middle-aged to older, and that's nothing special. I mean, that is the e-bike industry in general, but they tuned a lot of the stuff for those particular riders. You know, they wanted something that was approachable had the ability to go fast, had the ability to feel sporty, but at the same time wasn't something where you're gonna feel intimidated just ripping the throttle and it's gonna peel out on you or anything like that. So, nice easy brakes. We are cleared for business. And we are off to the races. Now, one of the things we didn't test, normally do first, is let's see what our top speeds are at the different pedal assist levels. So we're at 1, and let's see where that's gonna get us to. $14, $15, $16, which is pretty fast for first level of pedal assist. So you go to 2, and we're hitting that 20 mile an hour mark, 3, 22 or so, 4. Hitting a curve here, guys. And then we'll stop and we'll do our top speed run here. Now you do get right about 24, we do get a little bit of ghost pedaling going on, so we can hit that 28. I believe this is a cadence sensor, so as we're just kind of pedaling, you know, we're not really putting any work into the bike, but we're still getting a top speed of 28 miles per hour. I think this is where I'm going to turn here. So that might be something where they can change up the gearing to get us a better top speed. But you know, this is a 7 gear. Most people riding this bike, are they going to be going 20 miles per hour? Probably not very often. So might not be a huge deal. But up until that 24, now this is a class 2 e-bike. We have, you know, great gearing the whole way, and so this seems like it's more of a class 2 in that sense, but it does have the ability to go a little bit faster. Some people might want. But yeah, so swapping out the gearing, giving us a better gear ratio, that would alleviate the ghost pedaling we have there. But again, if you're somebody who's like, hey, I just want to go 20, 23, 24, awesome. And if you are looking to go 28, you can do that, because that's, you know, I'm doing 27 right now. And I'm just kind of, you can see, just kind of like easy breezy pedaling here. You know, not putting any work here, but doesn't feel bad.
And that is going to do it for our review on the City Model 1 step-through e-bike from Denago. If you guys want to know more about them, I'll have a link to them down below. And if you guys have any questions for me, let me know down in the comments. I love talking to you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.